So here recently on the channel, we've been talking an awful lot about coaching hires, and today we need to keep in that same spirit, but turn our attention to Texas A&M and College Station, because this has been a big offseason for Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies in terms of coaching acquisition, and today we need to talk about the newest addition to that staff. As Texas A&M had an opening at running back coach, they turned to former Ole Miss running back coach Marquel Blackwell to fill this role, and we have got to break this down. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you think this is a good move by Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. And we're on a push to 20,000 subscribers. I'd love nothing more than to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, we have got to ask the question, who is Blackwell? And Blackwell is an intriguing individual. Not only did he play college football, he's from South Florida, but he also spent some time not only in arena leagues, but also in the NFL. So this is an experienced player. And one thing we've been talking about here recently, whenever we're talking about recruiting battles, if you have someone on staff that has that playing experience, that pitch can hit a little bit different. Because it's a little different when you're sitting with someone and that individual that's recruiting you can be in your living room, look right at you and say, I know what it's like to be you. I was you. I went through the recruiting process. I was able to successfully transition from high school football to college football, make all those transitions happen, and then do the same transition from college football to the NFL, to whatever league I went to, and life after football successfully. That means something, not only to these recruits, but to these parents. It's something that they can resonate with. But let's take a look at his career, because this is an individual that's coached at several institutions. His collegiate career got started in 2009, where he was a quality control coach at South Florida. In 2012, he moved to become the running back coach at Western Kentucky, and in 2015, he found himself with the Florida Gators. Now, in 2016, he went back to running back coach at Toledo, where he was there for 2 years. In 2018, he was the running back coach at West Virginia. 2019, he was running back coach and co-offensive coordinator at Houston, where he stayed during the course of the 2020 season. However, during the 2020 season, he was solely a running back coach. And in 2022, Ole Miss hired him to be their running back coach. And we know the results Ole Miss's ground game just put together. If you're not familiar, we'll go through it. Because Ole Miss had 2 running backs this year do a lot of positive work for that offense. And when we look in totality, that Ole Miss rushing attack came in as the number 3 rushing attack in the nation. Quinshon Judkins had himself a year. Over 1,500 yards on the ground and over 1,600 yards total offense. And Zach Evans was right behind him, a hair away from 1,000 yards, coming in at 935 yards, but averaged 6.5 yards per attempt. So when we look at this Ole Miss offense, this is an offense that got everything going through the running game, and even their quarterback, Jackson Dart, was heavily involved in the running game. Now, in the interest of objectivity and fairness, I think we do need to acknowledge that Ole Miss just came from having a veteran and experienced quarterback in Matt Corral that they did not have this year, and so it made sense at the beginning of the year that they would transition to a more run-heavy attack. However, what we did find out is that run-heavy attack was just real dangerous. And also, in the interest of objectivity and fairness, I wanted to take a look at Marquel Blackwell's other stops. Whenever we look at each of his stops, there seems to be a trend in uptick in rushing production. And furthermore, he's worked with some big name guys and helped get them to the next level. One name that all football fans will be familiar with is Kareem Hunt, someone he worked with when he was at Toledo. And so whenever you look at this in totality, this is a really solid hire. I think for 2 reasons. First and foremost, it's the experience he brings to the table, where he's coached in several different areas at several different institutions. And like I said, there is a trend that follows Blackwell, that when he goes somewhere, the running back production seems to increase. That right there is amazing. You see the production he puts down, and you see the development he's been able to help people with. But the second reason I think it's such a great hire is look at the recruiting grounds he's had access to. This is a guy who's from the state of Florida, which is one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the nation, but he also has time coaching in Texas at Houston, which gives him familiarity with Texas A&M's backyard. I think those are 2 real compelling factors, and if you're Texas A&M, You want to be able to maintain all the talent in your backyard that you can, because one of the unfortunate realities about the state of Texas is because it's so loaded with talent, every institution in the nation has a camp somewhere in the state of Texas trying to pull all the talent they can from this state. As A&M, it's your job to keep that talent home. A really good way to do that whenever you hire a running back coach that has the experience in different areas that Blackwell has, but also has the experience in increasing production the way he does. And this hire, in my opinion, comes at a big time, because this is going to be a big year for Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. The decision makers and the powers that be at Texas A&M are not going to sit by and watch the Aggies put together the same result they fielded this year, next year, and have Jimbo Fisher be feeling safe. There's a reason why he's made the coaching moves he's made this offseason, because he knew things have to change. What we're doing now just isn't working. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And one of the things I've always said, not to pile on Texas A&M here, but if I had someone that had never really had any familiarity with college football and I had them sit down and watch Jimbo Fisher's tenure as the Texas A&M coach, well, they would be forgiven if at the end of that viewing they came out of it and said, Jimbo Fisher's a defensive-minded guy. Why would they be forgiven for saying that? Because every year except one, Texas A&M's defense has been better than their offense. The only time where the offense was better than the defense is when Jimbo Fisher first got there. The first year he was there is the only time in Jimbo Fisher's career as head coach of Texas A&M and as the play caller of Texas A&M that they have had a top 20 offense. That is it. Outside of that, his offenses have ranked 62nd, 37th, 56th, and 101st. So something had to change, because whatever Jimbo Fisher was doing was very clearly not working. And whenever we look at this year in particular, that offense didn't go anywhere unless A-Chain took them there. And personally, I've been on a little bit of a quest. I think A-Chain is one of the most underrated, undervalued players in college football. Not by the Texas A&M fan base. Don't get it mistaken. If you're a Texas A&M fan watching this video and you're sitting there thinking, well, we as Aggie fans love A-Chain, I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that. I mean on a national scale. That man did it all for Texas A&M, and every defense A&M played knew this, and still, he was able to get his week in and week out. A-Chain had an incredible year. I think that guy is so unbelievably talented. I can't wait to see what he does at the next level. But this begs the question, what do you do to replace A-Chain? And that's one of the reasons why I think this Blackwell hire is so good. Because you didn't extend Tommy Robinson. You don't have A-Chain there. And your offense did not click without A-Chain's presence. Now, Aniyah Smith comes back, and that is a massive win for your offense. And you have got really good wide receivers. I concede all of these points. Evan Stewart, Moose Muhammad, those guys, those are going to be stars. Let's get that understood. Let's get that out the way. And I do think your quarterback is an intriguing talent. I'm very interested to see him continue to develop, because you can tell there is something there. There's a reason why Jimbo Fisher and them liked him, and it was apparent that he's got some juice. Very excited to see how it comes together. But the harsh reality is your offense ran through the rushing attack. And now you don't have your running back coach, nor do you have the running back that did it. So what do you do? How do you answer that? And I have to admit, even if you think I've been critical of Texas A&M in this video, this was a great hire. This was a great answer as to who are you going to get to replace your running back coach. This was a phenomenal move. And on top of that, we also need to acknowledge the running back they have coming in through recruiting, Ruben Owens, who is a certified star. I got to watch him in some 7-on-7 circuits, and that dude right there can do it all. He is just as dangerous in the receiving game as he is as a straight-up running back. I can't wait to see what he does in that offense, but especially paired with Blackwell. Whenever we look at the production Blackwell has been able to help running backs achieve, I'm very excited. But if you're a Texas A&M fan, I've got to hear from you, because I think that you've made some big-time moves this offseason, and it's apparent that this is a big year for Jimbo Fisher. The powers that be are not going to sit by and let last year happen twice, especially if your offense ranks outside the top 100 offenses in the nation and you're supposed to be an offensive guy. That's not going to fly. There's a reason why they brought in Bobby Petrino, because what they've been trying to do just flat out isn't working. And not only that, I think the Petrino hire was a really good one, considering the offenses he's been able to cultivate. Whether it works or not remains to be seen. I think this hire right here is one that might fly under the radar, and I don't believe it should. I think this is a really solid hire, and I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.